Hello guys and welcome back. And I can't believe it, I'm getting another car when I'm trying to get rid of a car. So now I've ended off with, is that 5 cars? Let's just count. The ML, the ZX, the Golf, the Primera, the Corsa, and this one, 6. 6 cars, but I'm getting rid of 2 of them, 100%. The Nissan Primera Camino is for sale. If anybody's interested, please let us know. Not sure when this video is actually going to go live. And I'm going to get a few months out the Corsa, and I've decided I'll be selling that. We all know how much it cost us, but it was a bit of a challenge, and I thought I'll be honest with you. But it's another reason why we don't talk money on this channel. I generally don't talk money on this channel, and I will carry on run the channel like that. I'll tell you the odd thing what something cost is, and when I get a bargain, as in parts and stuff. But I'm not saying I've paid this for a car and sold it for that. But clearly, with the Corsa, I'm going to wait until after Christmas and put it up for sale. If any of you guys are interested in the Corsa, let us know. But you know what it cost. But at the same time, you know fine well, it was just an absolute bargain that I got the car for, did the work, etc, etc. So it won't be getting sold, for example, for £300. Definitely not. Like I said, I'd scrap it. So this car jumped out at us straight away for one reason. It sounds stupid, but I am that impressed with the Mark IV Golf, the 1900 PD. She's an old girl, she's rough and rickety, but it absolutely flies along. It's a fantastic car. I fancied another PD vehicle. Those Golfs, I'm not going to get 2 of the same car, it's a bit silly. I fancied something a bit newer, and I fancied something with a 2-litre PD. I've got the 19 PD, and I like the 2-litre. It's not quite as well known as the 19 and as well liked as the 19, but it's still a good one if you get the early ones. The ones with no DPF, basically the BKD, are the best ones you can get, where they've got no nonsense on them, but they're refined, a bit more refined than the 1900, and they can actually be tuned to be quite a decent amount of power from them. So what have I bought? Well, I may as well show you. In a few years you might think, Dan, what are you on? Yeah, that's right, I bought a Mitsubishi. A Mitsubishi? Dan, you just said you're getting a 2-litre PD. Yeah, that's right. Factory fitted, these are fitted. The Mitsubishi Lancer is fitted with the 2-litre. It's the BKC. It's basically it's hard to explain. It's a B&M intake and turbo, an exhaust manifold kind of thing, but it's got the legendary BKD block. It's actually the best way. It's the nearest connection you can get to the 1900 PD. So it's got all the strong and plus points of the 1900, but it's got all the better points of the 2-litre. So all in all, great. It's nearly a 2012 car as well, but it still runs on an old school cat. No DPF, no nonsense. So happy days. It's got what you want, but it hasn't got the crap you don't want. So no stop start, none of these DPFs, no nonsense like that. Just old school diesel. Well, not old school, but you know what I mean. So we'll have a look round. Basically, I bought this car cheap. Again, I'm not going to give prices because it was an MOT failure, and the guy just kind of said to himself, I don't want to spend that money on the car, because he knew it needed a few bits done. It's actually the Lancer Sportback, so it's got a huge boot on it, which is what, again, attracted me to this car, because you know what I'm like with me dogs and stuff, and that boot is absolutely huge, and it's got quite a relatively low lip as well for getting the dogs in. So that's another reason why I got it. And as you can see under there, it's got reversing camera, but the typical Mitsubishi stuff, no parking sensors. But that's just the way these things are. It's some kind of a limited edition. It's a Juro. So it comes in quite a nice white colour. It's got electric folding mirrors. It's got that nice spoiler, which is huge, which I quite actually like. Excuse all this on the back, I'll get that in a minute. Full leather interior, which is very nice and unmarked. We'll just swoop past that for the minute. And again, excuse the glove box missing. I'm getting to that in a second. But yeah, lovely unmarked leather interior with reversing camera, sat-nav, Bluetooth, all that malarkey fitted from the factory. Apologies I'm doing this inside, guys, because I'm just sick to death of getting stopped all the time. It's had a bit of a knock round the front end. The guy said it was like that when he bought it. A little bit of the chrome missing there. But again, it's all secure. It's all there. As I've bought it, it's been stood on a drive for months. So I haven't washed it or anything. But yeah, I do think these have got a lovely, aggressive-looking front end. I always did like the Mitsubishi Galant. I think they've got one of the nicest front ends of an older car. And I must say, this Mitsubishi really did do nice on the front end of these Lancers. Do you guys agree? Leave a comment below. I personally think, not in this surroundings like here, but I've got some nice pictures. Look on my Facebook page, Cardiff Garage Northeast. That is a nice, aggressive looking front end. I will definitely say that myself. Back end, not so interesting, but it's functional and it's exactly what I want. I don't want a saloon car. I don't want a small hatchback. So this does it for me, 100%. So, quick look in here, because I've just banged into that thing. So yeah, electric heated mirrors, folding mirrors. We've got 4 electric windows. Cruise control. I do miss that on the Golf. Front fogs, all the rest of it. Aircon, and it works. Ice cold. Lovely. 6-speed gearbox. Cobra alarm system. 2 keys. All the nice bits and bobs for plug-in for your phone. And have a look at that, guys. 89,000 mile. Remember, this bit what I'm getting to. The 2-litre PD VW engine. 89,000 mile. That's worth money in itself. So I'm just going to pause it and open the bonnet. And there we go, guys. Just looks like a regular Mitsubishi. Most people wouldn't even know. Till you just look a bit closely at stuff. Like, for example, I don't know if the phone will pick that up. You can see the Audi and VW symbol. That's your 2-litre. Like I said, it's a BWC. And like I said, I get mixed up. Yeah, it's a BWC, B&M, intake and exhaust manifold. And it's the BKD block. But it is a known VW number. These engines are used in the Passats and stuff like that. Basically, it's one of the ones you want. No nonsense, nothing like that. So, happy days. What we're going to be doing under here, what I've already done, oil and filter change immediately. I've got a new air filter. I've got the fuel filters down there, bit of a pain. Going to change the fuel filter. I've got the pollen filter to do. The main importance on this is the timing belt. I've took the covers off and it's the original Volkswagen one. Not happy at that because it's never been changed from new. I have actually got a spare battery for it. Ignore all of this. This around here is just, it's a white car. On most cars you can't even see that, but I am going to put a bit of Lango guard over it. But trust us, this car is absolutely solid underneath. That's one of the main reasons I bought it as well. So I'll just show you what I've got. I've already done the oil and filter. So I've got an original equipment Marley air filter to go in. I'm not changing that because I'm waiting. I've got a Marley fuel filter coming as well, but it's not here yet. And also what we've got is a new drive belt, a new timing belt kit, and I've actually went to the dealership, to Volkswagen, believe it or not, for a Mitsubishi, and getting a genuine water pump. I do not like aftermarket water pumps. I don't particularly like buying these. I would much rather have gotten the timing belt kit from what I call TPS. But we had a few problems with that. Like I say, I'll show you why the glove box is out and everything. So yeah, genuine Volkswagen water pump, because they're the main components that fail and cause bother. And then we've got an INA timing belt kit. INA is original, is what they leave the factory with, but I'm just not keen on buying them from like Euro parts because I'm a bit suspicious of the quality sometimes. But I've checked through this one and all of the tensioners, rollers and bearings are properly how can I say, stamped up, and even the belt has got made in Germany. I'm not going to open the box because it's a right nightmare when I opened it before. I don't want everything spilling out into the car. But yeah, so the reason why I couldn't get the belt from VW, it's a bit awkward, you see. Yes, it's a proper, genuine Volkswagen engine, but you can't ring up Volkswagen with Mitsubishi details. I'm not going to go to Mitsubishi because Mitsubishi are ridiculous and charge crazy prices. And you will get a Volkswagen boxed item from Mitsubishi. You will not get a Mitsubishi part. This engine is 100% VW. Nothing's changed on it. Few little bits of pipe work are slightly different, as in, I'll show you, like little vacuum pipes like these. this area down here is a little bit different, but that's it. That is literally it. The engine is 100% the same. So it was getting a bit awkward because they couldn't, there was a choice between two kits. They couldn't decipher it. Basically, it's between an M12 and an M10 on something to do with the alternator bracket. I don't know, but it could be narrowed down from the motor factors, but Volkswagen couldn't because it's not in a Volkswagen car. Even when I was using a Volkswagen Reg, you'd give two choices, then they would use the VIN number to sort it out, but you can't with this. So that's that. So anyways, I'm going to get my mate Stephen to do it. We're just that busy at the minute. I haven't got time. I haven't got the time and tools, and he helps me out enough. I'm quite happy to send him a little bit of money his way to help him out, like I do my bits of work on the side. He does them for me, and it's happy days. He helps me, I help him. So that's that. Get that done. I'm not going to actually use the car until I've done that, because I've took the cover off, and it is a bit on the perished side. In reality, anybody else you could do 10,000 mile, 20,000 mile, and it would be fine. For Dan, I'd take it out for 2 minutes, and it would snap and knock the engine. So yeah, it's had a new starter motor on. Really, there's not a great deal it needs, bar the little trivial things. So yeah, that's what we've done. I've already done the oil change, and like I've said, it was an MOT fail. I'm just going to quickly run through. I've got pictures again, which I will be putting on Facebook if you want to go across and have a look. But I had a few issues for the MOT. It failed on a couple of brake pipes at the back, which I've done. Nothing to show you there, just some new pipes. The two front wishbone arms were also failed on the bushes on the rear, which I'll show you. I've got them here. Believe it or not, I've done one on a Mitsubishi Outlander just the other day, and that's why there's three arms. It's exactly the same. And they're the two arms, and you can see, I personally think the tester has been over the top. It's just that little lip there has gone. I would advise that, because it is not what I would class as dangerous, because it has not separated. It is still fully, you can braid that with a hammer attached. This one is a little bit worse. You can see it's lifted, but at the same time, it is still fully attached. It is not going to slide out. And unless they're fully detached and the actual wishbone is sitting on the subframe. So that one, I would say there's justification slight. This one, I think they've been a bit overzealous personally. But anyways, it's a 2011 car with 89,000 mile on. Two nice new shiny Phoebe arms have gone on. So what I have gained is me two new bushes, two new front bushes, two new bottom ball joints, and I was going to say two new non-rusty arms, but I will say, compared to that one, which is off a same age Outlander, this car has certainly not been in bad conditions. They are really good in comparison to that. And you get a look at that one. So yeah, they cost us, I'll talk money, I think around about, I don't know, £140 for argument's sake. So they've been done. Now the big whammy on this, a lot of you will think, Dan, that's not your way of doing things, it's a bodge job. It isn't a bodge job. It isn't anything wrong with it. Sorry guys, I just had a customer there to hand over the keys. But yeah, I've done a little bit of a bodge job. But I'm not going to lie, it's something I've wanted to do to a few of my cars, but I didn't want to ruin a perfectly working system. We're talking about exhausts here, and we're talking about deletes. And before anybody says you've ripped the cat out, no I haven't, there's no point, you don't really gain that much extra power on these. But what I have done is a back box delete. Mainly, as we know, these 2 litre PDs are highly tunable. A stage 1 on these can get them way up to 180 plus brake horsepower. And bearing in mind, these Mitsubishis are a lot lighter than the Volkswagen cars that they're in, so you really do feel the power upgrades. Just wanted to show you guys one thing which I've just seen when I was MOTing it. I've seen an intercooler before. You can see the big intercooler on the bottom. I'll have to go and grab a light, 2 moments. I've never seen it. This is the intercooler, great big unit down here. But if you notice in there, it's actually on with exhaust hangers. And I must say, in my career, I have never seen, factory fitted especially, an intercooler fitted with exhaust hangers. Never seen it. So anyways, I got a bit off point there. But anyways, these are highly tunable. So once I've had the time belt done, once I've done me a few other jobs to it, I'm going to get a stage 1 put on. And the reason, and again, if you just want to know a bit of information before I get to this so-called bodge job, the reason why, what I'm doing, like I've said, I'm going to sell the Primera and I'm going to sell the Corsa. I love me Golf. I won't part with that. Not yet anyways. That's me daily. That's got the dogs in. And I just sometimes feel when we want to go out dressed up and stuff, the Golf is... I'm not one to care about what people think of us. Just a little bit scruffy looking. If you've got to go to a wedding, meeting, anything like that, the Golf's great. I love it, and I really trust us guys. If you've ever met me in person, I couldn't care less what people think about me. I don't care. But it is a little bit on the kind of worky, kind of tatty kind of car. And I fancied something is a nice car. A car where I can take on a longer journey, because the Golf does lack cruise control. So I've got my cruise control, got my aircon, got my leather seats. The Golf's got the aircon and stuff as well. So yeah, that's why I want this as me, and the dogs don't get in it. So it's a nice car for going out as a family, on my own when I've got a longer drive to do. And my Golf is just for taking the dogs out, family days out where we know we're getting muddy and stuff. And that's all I'm going to keep those 2 cars. Like I say, I will have the ML and the ZX as well. But I'll just keep the Mitsubishi and the Golf, sell the Corsa, sell the Nissan. Happy days. So just thought I'd get to that. Anyways, one of the main factoring reasons the guy wanted rid of this car was the exhaust on it. The back box is a huge unit like this. And trust us, it's heavy. Really is heavy. And it's actually stainless steel. And that sits sideways on, under the back, like that. And then the centre pipe goes into this huge hole, as you can see. So they make a nice stainless steel exhaust, and then they make the hole like that. And it was detached. So obviously it failed its MOT because it's detached, major leak of exhaust gases. And I thought, and I priced it up, £400 for Mitsubishi, and no other suppliers can get them. And due to the size of the hole, it couldn't be welded. You can't put a plate on it, it was paper thin. But I am knowledgeable with diesels. And I'm telling you now, Mark III Mondeos, when the flexi pipes at the front go, and all the exhaust leaks out at the main manifold, they don't sound any different. As long as you leave the DPF or the cat in place, which on these, they're up at the back on the turbo, you don't need any silencers. I swear down. Some you do, some you definitely do. The Volvo XC90, that had a back box delete, and that was very drony on a drive. But on some cars, especially Mark III Mondeos, no difference at all. And I mean at all in sound. None of even these silly turbo noises, like the flipping, you hear these people decapping and straight piping these diesels and they make that stupid cuckoo noise and stuff. None of that crap. I don't want any of it. So I thought, I drove it fully detached and it wasn't any louder or different. So I thought, what's the point in spending all this money? So I ripped it off, and I'll grab the light. I had a scrap exhaust around the back of a Vauxhall Safira. And now, obviously, I'm not joking here, that weighs about 3 or 4 stone. So the car's 3 or 4 stone lighter than it was. And all I've done, I'm just trying to get down on my hands and knees here, guys, I've just put the downpipe on, where the pipe went into it, a clamp on it, and that's it. It's got a downpipe, but as you can see, it comes out. Oh, my knees. Just trying to get down on my knees to show you. It comes out at about halfway, well, actually more than halfway past the spare wheel well. See that? It's a cross member underneath. And that's at about this point here. MOT rules state, I'm just going to put this lamp down because it's minging. MOT rules state, as long as the exhaust exits behind the passenger seats, rear-most passenger seats, it's fine. And as you'll see, most estate cars I'm getting in now, like some of these Dacias and stuff, the exhaust at the back comes straight down after the back axle. And the whole overhang of the back of the car is not testable. So like I said, that exhaust comes down to there. Actually, it's there. So it's past the back seats, which are here. That's the back rest of the back seats. It's in the luggage compartment. So it's perfectly legal and correct for an MOT because none of the exhaust system's leaking. There's no risk of the exhaust fumes from entering the passenger compartment. Again, if you check up, as long as the exhaust exits behind the rear passenger seats, it's fine, so it does. Now, there's another, if you did that with a petrol car, it would be very loud, and I would feel that on an MOT because it's above the limits for the sound. That isn't. It sounds no different. In fact, I'll even start it up in a second. So there's basically £400 saved there for nothing. All I've done is welded an extra bracket on, which used to be used for this because it had three. One, two. Those two are too far back. But this third one here, where that went in, that's where the bracket I've welded on the exhaust so that it hangs on that, so it's perfectly supported. The only one you might ask is there's a metal tie going around here. That doesn't support nothing. It's not nothing like that. What it is when the exhaust's hanging, if it was to swing a little bit too much, it could knock. So all it's doing is it's just keeping it pulled just very slightly that way so it can't knock. And that's it. Done. For now, it's just temporary. But at the same time, if it doesn't give us any bother, it doesn't sound any different, why would I spend the money? Even going to a stainless steel place to get a pipe put on. What's the point? It's cost us nothing. A clamp that I had sitting there, sawed off a downpipe bit off a Saphira, used the welder, welded on a bracket with a piece of metal bar that I already had. The rest of the exhaust stainless steel and perfectly solid. I've got no reason to, like I said, it doesn't sound any different. If anything, you're going to gain a lot of performance because you don't have all of this. So, yeah, not ideal, but saved us money. And when I come to get it tuned, it's an extra stage up because it's less restricting on the exhaust system. So, yeah, I'm happy enough. So I just want to show you a few things on this. Obviously, what I do like is, actually I can't show you, when you lock it, the mirrors fold in. I quite like that, but I've done them with the button, so when I'm walking past. But anyways, we'll get on to why, before I start it up, why is the glove box out down? Well, what I'm going to have to do is, I'll actually go around to show you first. I've got a bit of an issue with this car. The battery was flat when I bought it. And it's never had a flat battery before. And I'll just switch the ignition on. So, the battery went flat, you'll have to excuse the beeping. And this unit, which obviously is your reversing camera and radio and sat-nav and everything, somebody's entered a code into it. It's just loading up there, as you can see. It's original, Mitsubishi fitted one, Kenwood, I believe. Well, it definitely is, because all the literature's in there. That's how Mitsubishi and Suzuki kind of did things in the day. And there it's asking for a code. Tried every combination available, and we couldn't find nothing. So I'm really annoyed because it's kind of shut the whole car down, sort of thing. So I'm going to have to take the whole dash apart now. Because what it is, it's a lot of radio codes, manufacturers hold them. This has been set by somebody, like some person who owned the car. So therefore, Mitsubishi can't help with. I can't do anything. It's not written down anywhere. The previous keeper doesn't know because it was somebody previous to him. So as a company somewhere in Sunderland, I'm going to try and take the unit out now. And to take it out, I've just watched a video, you've got to remove the glove box, which I'm happy enough to do anyway because the pollen filter is just here. So I'm going to change the pollen filter while I'm in. You've got to take that screw out there, that pulls that off, this comes off, and then that allows you to take that off, which then you can take the unit out. Easy as that, Dan says. Well, we shall see. So yeah, I'm going to take the unit off to this guy in Sunderland, and he's going to plug it into his machine and uncode it for £35, which I think is great. Tony's Auto Services in Sunderland or something like that. So what I am actually going to do, try and get it out now, take it home, and on Monday, I normally go out with the little one on the metro, and I'm going to take it with us in a box and actually drop it off because it's just off one of the metro stations where we quite often go. So I'm going to try and kill two birds with one stone because I would like that working because that is really going to bug us. But we'll just quickly start it up and I'll just show you. Typical 2 litre diesel. Lovely and quiet in fairness. Don't know how it sounds on camera. But as you can hear, under the back, no difference. Can't hear nothing. I'll give it a little rev. I'm not going to rev too much in here because I've got the doors down, but it sounds absolutely sweet. No noise from the back. Nothing, as you can hear at the back. Just sounds like every other 2-litre diesel I have coming into the garage. So on those lines, that exhaust system is going to get left. So I'm going to leave it there. I will do a little bit of a walk around video. It's a separate video. I'll show you the work that I've done on the arms when it's on the lift next. It's just been Lango guarded as well. What else? Yeah, like I said, the oil and filter's been done. When the fuel filter comes next week, I've got to do the fuel filter, and I'm not going to bother doing the air filter because I've got to take all this rubbish off to get right down there at the fuel filter, so I'm not touching the air filter. So I'll do the fuel filter, the air filter in one go. The pollen filter's getting done while I'm taking the radio out because I've got the glove box out. And like I said, the timing belt, I'll update you on that as and when that gets done. And that's about it, really. Then we're on to things like remapping and this, that, and the other, the fun stuff. And I'm probably just not going to use this car till the 1st of December because by the time it gets around to get the time belt done, I'll just wait until the 1st of December to tax it. But I have, like I've said, I don't know if you can see, well, you can see the old arms there, so you probably don't need to see underneath, but I know you'd like to see. I'll just see if I can point the light under there at all. Let's have a look. They're the brand new arms there, you see them. Two new wishbone arms done at the front. So that's that. They're all fitted. So on those lines, I've just been and sorted the MOT. So it's got a full year's MOT till 2024. The only advisories, like I said, I personally think the tester who tested this car was very overzealous. But I always like to follow the trend. I don't like to just miss things off on the advisories. So I've just followed what they've said, basically play on the inner rack, near side front. I've checked that and it is barely even feelable. But whatever, I've just mirrored that advisory. The two back, now this is a funny one. When I went to view the car, I looked at the state, he showed us the MOT failure sheet. And I looked at these back tyres, there's a few cracks on them. I don't know if the camera will pick them up. See those few little cracks perishing on there? And I says, strange that. I said, he's failed it on this and this, and advised it on that, that and that. But he's never even mentioned those back tyres. And he was like, oh, well, every MOT should be the same. Well, that's different, isn't it? You see, guys, it's a human being doing the test. And unfortunately, human beings miss things sometimes. So everybody thinks because one tester's advised this and this, they'll do all that work, and then they'll get it tested by somebody else, and then they'll advise something else. They'll be like, hold on, you didn't advise that on the first test, so why is it being advised in the second if it's a different person? And that's just the way things are. So on the previous MOT, have a look at yourselves, these tyres weren't mentioned, so I've added additional stuff on what he missed. Why? I don't know why he missed. So obviously just slight cracking and damage, near side rear, off side rear. Brake, again, all the brake pipes, when I've replaced them, I've covered them in, like I always do with wax oil. I just cover myself there. All brake pipes, all covered in underseal. And the last bit again, the brake disc on the offside rear outer. I mirrored his, but the car's been stood. Oh, sorry. The car's been stood, and I really don't think that it's too bad. I'm just going to switch some lights on in here. I personally don't think that they're that bad, but I haven't replaced them because they don't need replacing, and it was only an advisory anyway. But I don't think, typically I need the light, I don't personally think that they were that bad. I really don't. It's strange. It's MOTing is a funny thing, like I've just told you with that exhaust. I'll just switch it up. Yes, definitely it's a bit corroded, but it's not horrendous. And you can see where it's just starting to clean up because the car's been stood. And about 100 mile, they'll be as good as new. But anyways, I mirrored that one. And the other thing that I've done, which you'll probably see, is a nice shiny wheel nut on there. This one here. Took the lock, it had the locking wheel nut with 4 original nuts. So I've took all the locking ones off and put the originals on. Because guys, We know how much I hate lock and wheel nuts, and I advise any of yous out there, don't blame me if your wheels happen to get nicked, to take them off. Trust us, they are a waste of time. Utter waste of time. Take them off, put them in the bin. And I'll show you where I put them in the bin along with all the other ones of every other car I've bought customers. There we go, and they're the Mitsubishi ones, just there in the bin. And I can't be bothered to move all this, but trust us, that bucket is full of lock and wheel nuts. So I'm just going to leave it there. But like I was saying, for the MOT, in case any of you question about that exhaust, when the exhaust is fitted and it's separated, it's a failure. Definitely a failure, because it's a major leak of exhaust gases, because the system is parted, because the centre bit was insecure, because it didn't have the one I've welded onto it and used, that's now supported. So it was a fail. So just don't think I've just ripped it off and passed it. I've done it right. I've took it off, I've welded a new hanger onto it so it's supported, and I've also I didn't have to put a downpipe on, I just didn't want the fumes going into the back bumper. It's now nicely pointed onto the ground. But yeah, if the exhaust system is there, like this is there, and it's major leaking, it's a fail. And it also failed that the guy couldn't do the emissions test because all the fumes were coming out of the centre pipe here and nothing was actually getting through to there. So when he was putting the probe in, he couldn't get a reading. So that was a totally legit and fair reason to fail it. But take that off, it's not there anymore, secure the remaining exhaust, and like I said, as long as it's exiting after the back axle, behind the backseat passengers, it's not even an advise, it's a straight pass. As long as it's, all you've got to check an exhaust system for is security, the hangers, the clamps, the joints, and for corrosion where it's excessive to the point it could snap, and there's no major leaks. Now, a leak from that joint is a leak, and it's either minor or major, pass or fail. But at the point of leaking, because it was behind the passenger seats now, it's not a leak anymore, it's the main exit of the exhaust. And look, on most stuff, that's the way it is now, especially estate cars with big overhangs after the back axle. The exhausts on like my Golf come right out of the back exhaust. Look on a lot of the newer stuff in that going further back towards like this area behind the back wheel to this bit. Because they're saving money not having to put a bit of pipe down. So, little bit of information for you. I'll see how it goes, but I've certainly not had any issues. I've had it up to speed and everything. And it's perfectly fine the way it is, so I'll probably just leave it. If anything, it's a power upgrade because they restricted the exhaust. A back box delete, like a boy racer, but it's not for any of those reasons. So we'll leave it there. We've rambled on too much. I wish I could have done a bit of filming outside in the daylight because this car does look fantastic. But obviously, if you look on the cover photo and look on Facebook, when I put this live, there'll be a few pictures there. Not a massive amount of improvements to do on this, but I won't be using it much till the time belt's done. But what I'm going to do now is crack on, get this dashboard took apart and get the unit out. I might even show you. In fact, I'll just pause my phone and I'll leave it because I've got half an hour to sort it. So I'll pause it and I'll come back to you and see. I'll let you see how far I get on. Right guys, we're going to end it here. I've got a headache, I'm fed up, but it's done. It's out. All to get a radio code. So I need to take this somehow. I'm going to have to put it in my rucksack or something. And all this because of some poxy security code, which I've said shuts the whole car down. Prepare yourselves, because it no longer looks like a nice car anymore. It looks like it's just been involved in an accident. So we've got all the glove box out, all into the dashboard, all of the heater controls, all sorts, water control units, wires. Oh, it makes us sick just looking in there because I've got to try and remember midway into next week before I can even put all this back together. The joys. Like I say, everything's all in the back there, the fascia, trims. Looks worse than it is, but it's certainly not good either, is it? So I'm fed up anyways. I was wanting finished early, I haven't. But anyways, it needs done. I cannot have a car with nothing working in it, you know, the whole thing shut down. The constant security code error message beeping and coming on all the time. So that's it. I'll do another update video of when that's fitted and we'll get some nice view shots of it outside and I'll let you know. But like I've said, I don't mind it sitting like this anyway, because until I get the belt done, I ain't using it. So we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Again, I appreciate all of you who help out. If you do want to help out little things, you know, I give these bits of advice, show you some tips, let you know information. I will be back with the weekly vlogs soon. Any little bit helps, you know. I really appreciate all like the buy me the coffees, which the links below, the super thanks, just hitting the like, just even watching the video till the end, subscribe, all that stuff, it all helps. So I'll catch you soon. Let us know what you think of the Lancer. I know all that's an absolute headache, but technically it's not the car's fault. It's some idiot who's put the security code in and not decided to disclose that code when they sold the car. I'll tell you one thing, what I will be doing, I don't know if he's going to unlock it or whatever and gives us a new code, or just turns it off altogether, which I'll go for that. If not, it's getting it written on here with Sharpie, and also it will also be getting written in the handbook somewhere as well. Oh, just a headache. I can't explain to people, like, when a timing belt's done or something, just write it in the book. Just make a note, write it somewhere, put it with the car. But I suppose a lot of people, when they trade cars in and they get a crap price, they'll do anything to kind of get one up over the dealers to cost them money. Maybe, who knows. But thanks for watching. Catch you next time.